Hey, Professor Norris, great to see you today.
Hey, Ben, how are you?
I'm great. Did you teach class today?
I did. I just finished a Business 70 class. It's a survey of business that all first-year business students take. Really great class.
I remember taking that my first year here at Santa Clara. What lesson did you just finish teaching?
Today we watched a video of a Shark Tank episode. This guy called the Wall Doctor, and he gets an offer from every one of the sharks. So we go through each of them and we figure out which were good offers and which were not good offers.
That sounds really cool. So, what do you do when you're not teaching?
I'm kind of into endurance sports, so I do a lot of swimming, biking, running. I learn guitar, hang out with my friends, family, got 2 dogs.
Wow, very cool. You completed a half Ironman race, right?
I did, yeah, 70.3 miles. It was really hard.
What was the most valuable lesson you learned from preparing for your half Ironman race?
My takeaway was that you can learn just about anything if you work really hard at it, day after day, and just never give up.
That is very true. As the director of the Ciocca Center, you spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs. If you were to begin a new startup today, what would it be?
It would definitely be something in sustainability or addressing climate change. It's just such an important problem and lots of room for innovation.
I completely agree. What new technology are you most excited about?
I'm kind of fascinated by augmented reality, the concept of overlaying the virtual world on the real world, but it's a long ways away.
That sounds very interesting. If you were to sit down with any famous CEO to have a conversation with, who would it be?
Oh, Steve Jobs for sure. He could see the future and then invent it.
That is a great choice. So, could you tell me a little bit more about how you got involved with entrepreneurship in the Silicon Valley?
Yeah, longer story. Why don't you come into my office and we'll talk about it. I was raised in this tiny town in Idaho, population 23, on a dairy farm. And so I didn't know anything about Silicon Valley. I was working on my electrical engineering degree at the University of Idaho. And there was this professor who just kept talking about this place, Silicon Valley, you should go to Silicon Valley. So I'd stay after class and I'd talk to him. I still didn't really understand exactly what it was, but I found an internship in Palo Alto, and when I came down, saw the palm trees, Apple Computer, Atari, all these companies that I just heard about. I was just like, wow, this is just mind blown. And I could tell then that this was going to be the place for me.
So, you've served as CEO for a few companies. What is the most valuable lesson you learned from your experiences?
Yeah, companies, the team is so important. So being able to build and motivate a team, I think it's by far the most important. You're building a company, it's like an endurance sport that you just cannot give up. But it's for teams. It's not an individual thing.
So now, after your impressive career as a CEO and startup founder, what do you do here at the Ciocca Center?
So I'm the executive director of the center. We build programs that help students learn how entrepreneurs think so that they can have that as life skills, this concept of empathy, understanding the pain someone has and how you might solve it as an entrepreneur, seeing problems as opportunities, things that you can create, willingness to take on risk, and kind of an awareness of what difference did you make in the world. So those are all things that entrepreneurs do naturally, and we try to provide programs to students so they can learn to do that themselves.
Do you have to be a business major to be involved with the Ciocca Center?
No, absolutely not. We're a campus-wide center, so we embrace students from all disciplines, and graduate and undergraduate and alumni too. So it's a great way to meet people from all walks of life that are still part of the Santa Clara community. I
heard students can go through a venture accelerator through the Ciocca Center. Could you tell me a little more about this?
Yeah, we have a cool set of programs called Bronco Ventures. The accelerator is one of them, but they're basically programs that help students start their own companies. So we have a program called Idea Lab where we teach students how to just take an idea and bring it to reality. And then programs like the accelerator that help actual fledgling company get moving, and we sort of accelerate them on the path to providing products into the market.
What advice would you give yourself as a college freshman wanting to learn more about entrepreneurship and startups in the Silicon Valley?
I think the most important thing is to get involved on campus. There's just so much going on, and the time goes by so quickly. These 4 years it's just vanishingly short. So you just have to go hunt down the things that you're interested in, and you'll find them. They're here, and so that's my best advice: is don't let those 4 years go by without getting the most out of it.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Professor Norris.
It was great seeing you too, Ben. I'll see you out.
I gotta head out to practice my pitch for my entrepreneurship class.
Oh, that's right. I will see you on Monday.
Yep, see you on Monday.
Okay, take care. Bye, Ben.